All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Let's make it happen. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you guys. People from all over the country and a lot of people from all over the world we actually have today. So, one of the biggest things that I like to do when we come in and do these trainings is just let people know that these are supposed to be fully value based. And I know that a lot of people at the end of this, one of the things that I recognize is that we can't give everybody a PhD and give them a full education in a 1 hour training, but we can still give them a ton of information and put you guys way further ahead mentally and educationally within the next 60 minutes than you were when you started here right now. And that's the goal. So, because I know that there's people at different levels of ambition, there's going to be two things that I'm going to work with you guys on, and two different types of people that at the end of this I'm looking for. And there's actually a third type of person. There's one person that's going to be our go-getters, okay? And I want you guys to start thinking about this since right now as I go through this training and say, because you might just be flirting with the fact that you guys want to build houses because there is no inventory out there, guys. Like fix and flips and all of that stuff is one of the hardest. This is one of the hardest times in the market to be in the fix and flip game. This is, if you guys love multifamily, which I do, this is one of the hardest times to be in the market looking for multifamily because inventory just doesn't exist. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you guys look around and there's inventory out there. But one of the biggest problems with that inventory that's out there is because cap rates have been compressed, interest rates have went up, the values have gotten compressed, and now lenders are not willing to lend the same amount of money, not even close to the same amount of money as they once were even just 2 years ago. And so sellers are trying to get out for as high of a price as humanly possible, and buyers are trying to buy low. And what ends up happening is there's some type of median in between, but even the median in between is too much for people to buy. And you're going to end up having to ride a long wave that's going to have to take, it might take you as long as 5 to 8 years to be able to ride that wave to get out of that asset. I don't want you guys to do that. And one of the things that I noticed in 2018, and I remember getting in front of a room in 2019 at my first real estate domination, and I told everybody, I said, look, guys, this is the way banking works. This is what's going to happen. As God is my witness, just follow it. I didn't think it would take this long. I truly thought that by 2020, 2021, we would be already through all of this volatility in the market. But it took a little longer. And to the grace of God, a lot of people made a lot of money, right? But now we're sitting here trudging through the dirtiest waters of all time. And there's going to be people that are sitting here right now saying, Jerome, I'm sick of trudging through dirty water. I'm ready to get going on this. And I want to be one of your ambitious individuals that just wants to take action. Okay. Now, one thing that I know is that that's only probably about 3% of everybody that's on this call today. And unfortunately, we only have room for about 5 people to really take under my wing directly and work with us in our inner circle. So 5 of you guys that are really your action takers as we go through this today, I want you guys to position yourself mentally to start telling yourself, okay, I am the action taker that he's looking for, and I'm going to invite you guys to work with us. Now, is there an investment to work with us? Absolutely. I invested in myself over 30 years ago when I got involved in multi-level marketing, and a lot more than what the investment is to work with us today. And so the biggest thing is building community, right? Building strength in our community. The second thing that I'm going to do is there's going to be a lot of you guys that say, you know, Jerome, I'm an action taker, but I need more information. And for those people, we're going to invite you guys to come to Dallas with us on June 22nd. And so you guys are going to have an opportunity to do that as well. And the third person is going to be somebody that's brand new today. They're sitting back going, wow, I feel like I just got fed with a fire hose, and I just want to position myself to be able to get more information and learn a little bit more. And for those people, we'll be able to have you guys set up a call with my team and position you guys where you guys can go in and take action and learn more, okay? And this is going to be a great foundation for that. So look, guys, here's the thing. I always tell people, one of the biggest things that you need to pay attention to is not money. There's no shortage of money on this earth. There's no shortage of opportunity. In fact, people say this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I sit back and go, yay! You know how many once-in-a-lifetime opportunities I've had? More opportunities than I've had lifetimes, right? And so my whole thing is like, you're not Lucky the Leprechaun. I'm not Lucky the Leprechaun, and I'm not selling you guys the end of the rainbow where the pot of gold lays, okay? I'm just teaching you guys business. I'm going to teach you guys a business model that has continued to pay me exponentially. If you go to my Instagram stories, from about 15 minutes ago. I was actually on a job site 15 minutes ago, and I just added to my stories. I walked around checking on my drywall guys, and now I'm here, right? Like I'm not sitting there in a lawn chair watching them tape and texture the house. But if you go to my Instagram stories at the Jerome Maldonado, one thing that you'll realize is that I was just on a job site, and that house will bring me about a $280,000 to $300,000 net profit. Okay, so I'm still doing what I'm teaching. Does that make sense? I'm not sitting here going, "Hey, once upon a time I did this bullshit, and I'm selling you the golden path to nowhere land." I'm doing and executing exactly what I'm teaching you guys today. Okay. Now, with that said, will you guys make $280,000? I don't know that. I do know that if you execute my business model, you'll make six figures doing it, whether that's 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, or somewhere in between. But you have to follow the business model that I'm going to be going over right now today. Okay. Don't reinvent the wheel. Be gullible enough to buy hook, line, and sinker, and just follow the process. Okay. If you don't follow the process, I can't promise you that it's going to work. In fact, one thing that I know, and I always say this, is that 85% of you guys will fail. Okay, at this. And not because our business model doesn't work. 85% of you guys will fail because 85% of you guys will never take action. Okay, it's the historical statistic that has existed for over 100 years. We're not changing that statistic today. You're not changing that statistic today. Would I like to see 100% of you guys go out there and just friggin' crush it? Absolutely. But one thing that I know is that fear conquers the mind, and that fear will limit your ability to take action. And some of you guys are just straight out lazy. Okay. But for those of you guys that aren't, and those, the 15% that come in, those are the people that we're truly going to benefit from what we're doing today and are going to make large steps forward. Now, here's what we do, guys. And I'm going to run through this as if it was the first time some of you guys have ever seen this. And I know a lot of you guys have seen this multiple times. Now, we have hundreds of people. We have thousands of people actually from all over the place here with all the other platforms that we're actually streaming on right now. So this is cool. Okay, now, here's the thing, guys. We're buying land. We're building houses. Here's how you make a six-figure profit. No matter where you are across the United States, one thing that I recommend to you guys is take my 5-day land challenge, because it'll teach you guys exactly how to go out and find a piece of land in your area that fits our business model. The one biggest mistake that most people make when they go in and they start executing this business model is they go out searching for land. And the wrong thing to do is search for land. What you do is you look for this business model that I'm going to give you right here first. Once you find a demographical area that supports the business model, then you go find land in that specific area. Okay, you don't go in and try to pin a tail on a donkey with your eyes closed and say, "I think this business model is going to work right here," because I guarantee it probably won't. And it's going to be a bullseye once out of 100 times maybe. Okay, so understand that we're looking for the upper middle class demographics. And one of the biggest things that I tell people, in fact, yesterday on one of my education calls, one of my students said, I told him, I said, "Look, guys, I know a lot of people sit back and they go, well, Jerome, I can't go out and build a 700,000. I can't afford to live in a $700,000 house." Congratulations. I couldn't either when I started building. But you know, one thing I could do is I could go out and build a $700,000 house, and I could sell it to somebody who could afford to. And the biggest thing is that banks, when you guys go in, you understand the way banking works. Banking and lending works differently than 99% of you guys think. And the reason why is because we live in a jacked up education system that we spend over 13,000 hours in school, and not one of those hours was ever taught about teaching you guys about commercial lending, about going out and understanding how banks and institutions lend money. And so because of that, your guys' brains are skewed backwards. And so I'm going to bring some light on you guys. And as you guys get into this, I don't have time to go over all of the financial sector today. Just know that, like those people that are going to Dallas, we're going to hit on that. Those people that are coming in, they're working with us long term, we hit on this stuff. And this is really important for people to know, because if you're sitting back and you're limited mentally on how to go out and execute, and you know you have a limitation as far as financial resources, that's okay. Because when I got started doing this, I had a 460 credit score and 26 lines of bad credit. And so one of the big things that I like to tell people is that a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, those of you guys who have the least amount of money do the best. And the reason why you do the best is because creativity is at its greatest when you're struggling financially and don't have financial resources. Sometimes having too much money is not advantageous because you throw money at problems, and though that money never solves that problem, creativity solves problems. And so the means of doing this is through creative financing and a lot of other means that most people don't know. And where the money really is, and what I'm going to teach you guys today, is that the money exists right here in these sets of blueprints. Okay, so the goal is to teach you how to do this, because this is where banks and lenders and investors go to see that you have a real project, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's get started. You want to build houses between $500,000 and $1 million. Okay. Now, the sweet spot is $800,000, hands down. I love that $750,000 to $800,000 mark. A lot of the upper middle class, that's where they buy homes. Now, I'm going to go over three demographics. Three, guys. Anything, the average median home right now is selling for $385,000. The average median list price for homes right now is $420,000. Those homes are going to the average median buyer that constitutes for 74% of home buyers. Okay, so we have our median buyers. That's 74%. Okay, these people right here are buying homes that are less than 500K. Okay, now there's a second demographics of the ultra wealthy, and that the ultra wealthy, ladies and gentlemen, these folks constitute for 2% of the population, and these people are buying homes in excess of $1 million. Okay, typically $1.5 million and above, but they only constitute for 2% of the population. Okay, so here's the problem. You can make a shit ton of money in this $1 million mark, guys, hands down. You can make a ton of money right here selling these $1 million homes. There's one problem with that, is that there's not a large enough population buying these homes. So you're competing against 2% of the population. Most of these people either own homes, or most of these people, when they go in, they're buying their own customers, or they're trading homes amongst the ultra wealthy. Right? Like, you guys ever heard, hey, Tom Brady just bought Michael Jordan's house, or I don't know if that's really the case, but you know what I mean. An artist, a singer, an artist went out and bought a professional athlete's home. And so a lot of times the ultra wealthy, they're trading these homes. Now, there's 24% of our population that sits right here. Okay? Hundreds of millions, I mean, not hundreds of, hundreds of millions of home buyers across the continental United States. There's hundreds of millions of home buyers right here, guys. This is a large enough demographics where you can get wealthy without risk, or with limited risk. There's always risk. Everything you do has risk, okay? But with limited risk. This area is super saturated. Right here, you have to compete for a $50,000, $40,000 net profit, and you're going against D.R. Horton, Pulte, Lennar, all these big builders. And when the market compresses, if you only have a $40,000, $50,000 profit and the market compresses, you have to drop $30,000 off that house. Shit, I'm not working for $20,000 for a 6-month bill, guys. I'm not going to sit back and work for $3,000 a month. Are you guys? Are you excited to go to work and make $3,000 a month? Shit, I'll go flip hamburgers for that. Okay? So unless you're doing this in volume, don't do it. And that's why I don't like fix and flipping, because people will take 6 months to do a fix and flip, and I'll sit back and go, damn, for 30 grand, really? You're going to take on all that risk and time for like a $30,000, $40,000 profit? Screw that. I ain't doing it. I did it. I won't ever do it again. I stopped doing that in 2008. It's a bullshit business model. This, ladies and gentlemen, this pays. Because even, let's say you have a $200,000 profit, market compresses, you have to drop the house $50,000. How many of you guys okay with going out and making $150,000 over 6 months if you had to take a $50,000 savings off of this business model? Any of you guys okay with taking a $150,000 profit? Yes or no? Yes, right? I'll take a $150,000 profit. How many of you guys would? Just say yes in the comment section. Okay? Yeah, 100%. You know, I'll take a $150,000 profit because you're doing it part-time, guys. And if you do 2 of these a year at 150,000, that's 300 grand a year. And one thing I know is that 90% of you guys are not making over $300,000 a year. In fact, the vast majority of you guys are making under $150,000 a year. And so this business model will complement whatever you are doing right now to go out and do that. Now, with that said, $50,000 to $100,000. What does that look like on profitability? What you guys want to do is go into a demographical area where homes are selling for between $500 and $1 million within your demographical area. If you're in California, maybe you can get up to about $1.4 million. If you're in Oregon or Seattle, where it's the tech world and e-commerce is big out there, where we're building out in Seattle, you guys might want to get up to about $1.2 to $1.4 million. But those limited areas are only about 5 cities across the United States where you can exceed this. The rest of you guys, stay in this business model. Don't moonlight anywhere else, okay? Stay right here. And you go in and you find areas where homes are selling for $500 to $1 million. And shit, even if you go in and you find areas where homes are selling for like $1.4 million, I'll be the small guy in a big subdivision, okay? Where I can go in and maybe some of the homes are 3,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet, but there's homes in there and you go in and build a 2,700 square foot house. Because where you want to stay at is between 1,500 square feet and 2,700 square feet, okay? Now, this is the abbreviation for square footage, so I'm going to use that a lot, guys. So recognize that right there, okay? That's shorthand for square foot. Now, unless you're in Texas, where everything's bigger and better in Texas, you guys can get up to 3,000, 3,100 square feet. But outside of that, guys, be very conscientious of getting too big. And here's why. We created a business model that will support any type of recession. Well, I shouldn't say any type of recession, but the vast majority of recessions, okay? And here's what I tell people. You could go out and gamble, and I said this the other day. I said, the biggest problem with investors is they sit back and they take risks, right? And they don't even understand how to underwrite this stuff. And they go, okay, one more. And then they're like, okay, I think there's a bubble. I think we're in a bubble in the market. But maybe I can do just one more before the recession. And they go and do one more. And they go, okay, no recession. Okay, one more. And then they go, okay, I think I can get one more done before the recession. Then they go out and do another one. And they might get lucky doing 3 or 4 of these, but then sooner or later, you never time it right. 100% of the time, you'll never get it right, guys. You're always going to be in a position where that recession or that bubble's never going to come at the time you thought it was going to come. Analysts aren't going to get it right either, and you're going to land up stuck in something. And so the way to prevent that is to always create a business model that no matter what the market's doing, it's almost recession-proof. Homes continue selling. And so even through the 2008 recession, we did this because we build what people need, not what they want, okay? Listen to that. We build what people need, not what people want. And what I mean by that is in times when money's tight and there's a market compression, inflation, high interest rates, and all the other bullshit that goes on this earth, right? All these variables. When that stuff happens, and that stuff is real, and it'll always circulate, about every 10 years, there's an adjustment in the market, okay? Approximately every 10 years, if you go back historically over the last 100 years, about every 10 years, there's a market correction. And when that market correction happens, are you going to go out and say, I know I can't afford it, but I want it, so I'm going to go buy me a 3,500 square foot house because I want it? Because how many of you guys, just answer yes or no, how many of you guys would love to have a 4,000 square foot house? How many of you guys want that? Okay, say yes. If you want that, say yes. Okay. Now, how many of you guys need that? If you need it, say no. Do you actually need a 4,000 square foot house? No. So the reality is that when people have to, let's say you have a family, you've got 3 children and a husband and wife, and there's a family of 5, you need a 4-bedroom home. Are you going to go out and buy a 7-bedroom home when you can barely afford a 5-bedroom home? Or are you going to buy what you need more so than what you want? You may want that 4,000 square foot house, but you could build a really beautiful 4-bedroom home for your family in 2,700 square feet. So my whole point behind this, guys, is don't build for these people here. Build what people need, not what they want. Build what they need, not what they want. And you'll always stay recession-proof because the vast majority of people can't afford what they want. That's why we live in America, right? People are always, they have more months left at the end of their money because they're always buying shit they don't need. And they're always buying a bunch of stuff they want that they don't damn need. And that's why we have such a high national debt, is because people live on credit, okay? So people try to buy what they want, but they can't. And sooner or later, they get bottlenecked, okay? So people buy what they need, not what they want, okay, in a recessionary market. This is where people will buy, whether the market's up or down. Okay, now, how do we make the money? Here's how we make the money. Let's take a median of this of $750,000. We take a house, the resale price, let's say it's $750,000. I like this place right here. I like the $750,000 mark more than I do $500,000. I like it more than even $1 million. And the reason why I love this spot of $750,000 is because, one, it's still affordable to the upper middle class. It's not too expensive, but I make more money than I do when I build a $500,000 home. The same amount of work. So I'd much rather be right here. Okay. Now, let's say, for sake of example, you have the 7,500 square foot house, and let's kind of go someplace in between here with a 2,400. We have a $750,000 house, and let's call it a 2,400 square foot house. That's where I build, between 2,400 and 2,500 square feet. The house I was just in on Instagram 30 minutes ago, that house is 2,500 square feet. Okay, so let's take the median of this, and let's call it a 2,400 square foot house. Okay. You can build a really nice 3 or 4 bedroom home with 2,400 square feet. The house I was just in is 2,490, so 2,500 square feet. And it's a 3 bed, 3 bath home, 3-car garage, beautiful, big mountain views, big giant porches, high ceilings, gorgeous. Okay, that house that I was just in is going to cost me about $155 a square foot to build it, all in, fully finished. Okay, the national average to build a house right now in the US is $141 per square foot. That's the national average. We're building above average homes because we're hitting this upper demographics of typically sophisticated home buyers. And so I always tell people, don't cut out the trim out items. Always go in and give people that little extra amenity. Don't go and give them everything, right? But you go and give them a really nice trim out and really nice finished fixtures, light fixtures, faucets, trim out to the kitchen, and get them something nice. Okay, so let's call it 165 a square foot. Let's say that you guys can't do it for the price I do it, but let's call it 165 a square foot. So we take 2,400 square feet, 2,400 square feet times $165 a square foot. Okay, now that's $396,000 in raw build cost. That's my vertical construction cost to build the house. That's including dirt work, that's including foundation, that's including the walls, the framing, the block, whatever you use for your walls. That includes your foundation or your stem walls with your floor joists. That includes your roofing, your roofing material. That includes your drywall, your trim out, your cabinets, your lights, your electric, your plumbing, your mechanical, everything. Okay, so that's $396,000. We'll just call it 400 grand. Let's say you make a $4,000 mistake. Let's just call it $400,000. So we have our build cost is equal to 400,000. Okay, now we have to buy land. Now, when we buy land, guys, here's the thing about land. People, where do I get the money to buy land? You don't. You use other people's money and you use other people's resources. Now, owner financing is the best damn way to buy land. Okay, that's the best way because it doesn't cost you much, and you typically get it for almost nothing at a very low interest rate, and even get the interest put on the back end of the build. Now, if you go in and you get a construction loan, this is the second best way to buy land, is let the bank buy it for you. Okay, and one of the things that I underwrote just 2 weeks ago on one of our education calls is exactly the difference between building at a wholesale price cost to build and a retail price that's delivered, a finished product that's delivered to the end consumer. Okay, the bank wants to know what your cost to build is. What you do is you give the bank the retail budget, and then you go in and execute on your lowest cost and your wholesale budget to be able to execute. The bank will leverage that over 20%, that other 20% that you need to be able to pay for the land, and they'll pull that back and they'll give you cash to buy the land for you. And the banks know this, guys. This isn't like taboo. This is the part where I mentioned before, where people go back in, they complicate everything, and they sit back and they don't understand finances. No one taught you this shit in school. So the biggest problem, guys, the biggest problem is that no one ever taught you this stuff in school, and Because they never taught you this stuff in school, you don't understand how banking works for commercial lending. This is commercial lending, by the way. This would be considered commercial lending. It's investment lending, okay? They're lending it to you as an investment. Now, unless you understand the investment lending game, you need to sit here, pay attention, listen, learn, and understand the game. This isn't a loan to value. This isn't about a debt to income ratio. None of that bullshit makes a difference, guys. None of that bullshit makes a difference here. It does. They do want to know if you're a credit worthy person that has a team that is educated enough to execute. That they do want to make sure of. So we teach you how to build a team and how to put that together. Now, once you do that, though, they will give you a loan provided you have a set of these, a set of prints. Okay, so you tie up the land, maybe through owner financing, or you just do a delayed close, and then when you go in, you take this and you start working immediately when you tie up the land. Immediately, you start working with a survey company to lay out what the land looks like, and then that way you could take it to your architect and say, Mr. or Mrs. Architect, go to work. I want to build a 2,400 square foot house. I wanted a mid-century mod. I want it mid-century modern, like what's trending right now. I like a house that's located on so and so, 21821 Peak Highway. And that house is beautiful. I want the architecture look something like that. And then you go to work and you let your architect go to work. And when they go to work, they produce you something. You tell them, I want to keep it within 24 to 2,500 square feet. I want it to be 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-car garage, 3-car garage. Give them all the details based on what's being built in that area. Based on this, guys, based on the business model that's being built in that specific area. Okay, now they go to work, they produce this for you. You take this to the bank. The banker opens this up. They get the comps that you're providing for them, or the realtors in that area providing for them, that you did the research on, that we taught you how to do the research on. Then they price this against the comps, and they give you a loan based on that. The first draw pays for your land. That's right. Money's not out of your pocket, but it pays for the land. Okay, right there. You don't have to have any money out of pocket. You just have to learn how banks work. Okay, now land on something like this is going to cost you someplace between about $100,000 to $150,000. Okay, let's kind of find some place on the high median. Let's call it 140. Okay, let's say if the land is a little bit on the higher median for a $750,000 house, $140,000. Okay, we go in, we spend $140K on the land. Now you're going to have closing costs that really exist on this. And some of you guys, I see some questions going through there, guys. Today, we'll get all those questions answered. We're going to do another training call. We answer a lot of those questions. My team will help you guys. So don't disregard your questions as not being important because I don't have time to answer all of them today. Just understand. Take notes, pay attention. Take notes, pay attention. This, ladies and gentlemen, is life-changing. This is our real business model. The same one that my son is executing and will be utilizing this next year as a senior in high school, okay? Same thing, same business model that I'm using right now. Now, there's closing costs, okay? So we see closing costs. There's 3% that goes to the buyer's broker, okay? The person that the buyer has representing them as a broker. 3% goes to the seller's broker, the broker that you have representing you to sell the house. And then 1% goes towards closing costs, escrow fees, and closing costs, so 7%. So we have closing costs of 7%. And that is equivalent, $750,000 house. We take 750 times 0.07 for 7%. That's $52,500. Let's call it $53,000. Okay, so we have 53K. Okay, now we have debt service on the house. We have to pay debt on the loan that you got, whether it's private money, bridge loans, or it's institutional money. There's debt that has to be served on them. Okay, so we have debt service. Okay, now, I'm not going to go through how we figure out debt service right now. Let's say that you guys are executing at like a 10% interest rate for a construction loan or 9% interest rate for a construction loan. The loan escalates as it grows. They just don't give you this money right here. This is the money the bank's going to lend you, $540,000. Okay, so if they lend you $540,000, they just don't write you a check and say Jerome Maldonado $540,000 interest starts today. They don't do that. They go, okay, here's your first draw for the land. Okay, you're paying interest the first month for the land. Next month you go, okay, foundation, another $40,000 plus dirt work, and then they give you they charge you interest on the $40,000 you take for the foundation. Then they give you the next drop, the plumbing rough in, the framing package. Maybe they give you another $70,000 for all of that stuff, and it escalates as you move through the build. So if you have like a 10% APR, it takes you 6 months to build a house, maybe a couple months to sell it. It's typically 30% of the actual annual percentage rate that you're going to land up taking. Now, when you do that, you're going to have about $10,000 to $12,000 in debt service. Let's call it $15,000 because maybe you're slower at the build. Okay, maybe it takes you slightly longer. So let's call it $15,000 in debt service. Okay, now we have 15,000, 53,000, 140, and 400K. Total cost, okay, this is our total cost to build. Let's add it up. Okay, we have $400,000 plus $140,000 plus $53,000 plus $15,000. That equals $608,000. Okay, so $608,000. Okay, that's our total cost. You don't have to finance these until you're at the end of your build. Okay, now we have $608,000. The sales price is $750,000. Okay, so we take $750,000 minus $608,000. That's $142,000. Okay, so we have total. This is your total cost, total profit, is going to be $142,000. Okay, I gave a little too much in there. Okay, and I wanted that to be closer to about 150 to 160. I gave a little more towards debt service. I made my cost to build a little bit higher, and I made my cost to build a little higher, and I even made my land a little more expensive for you guys today. Now, one thing that you're going to realize as you guys start doing multiples of these is that when you have trade labor, your build costs will go down based on negotiations. Even when you buy land, you're buying it from some of the same buyers, because if you go, Mr. Broker, Mrs. Broker, I need more land. As you grow into this, what lands up happening, ladies and gentlemen, is you can shave off $10,000 off of every lot because you've been buying multiple lots. And then the broker advocates for you. And they sit back and go, hey, this guy's a closer, this guy's a buyer, they're going to buy multiple lots from you. You can sell it to them at a discount, because if you do, they're going to buy redundantly from you. Okay, so that'll end up going up. So let's say, for example, your average net profit is going to be someplace in the neighborhood of $150,000. Okay, you guys want to learn how to do this over 36 months and net $1 million and not pay taxes? How many of you guys want to learn how to make $1 million net over the next 3 years, net in your bank account, pay zero taxes on it? Anybody want to learn how to do that? How many of you guys want to learn how to do that? Anybody? Few of you guys? A lot of you guys? All right. Getting a little bit of love on that? Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to go through this fast, guys. We got 15 minutes to go through this. I promise you guys I'm going to stay on point. Actually, we got about 20 minutes. We let people come in for about 5 minutes. Okay. $1 million net, 3 years. I did this in 2 years when I used to only make $110,000 on every build. Okay. I did it in 24 months, 2 years. And I only used to make about $110,000 per house. I did this back in the early 2000s. Okay. And the way I knew I was a millionaire is because my taxes were paid. I used to pay taxes back then. I don't pay taxes anymore legally, based on what I'm going to show you guys today. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys what's called bonus depreciation and how to scale into multifamily. That's the goal. Okay. But let's learn how to make $1 million tax-free first over the next 36 months, step by step, month by month. Okay. Now, for most of you guys, months 1 through 3 is you're going to just look for land, find land. Okay. You're going to be confused. Your confidence level is not going to quite be there. You're going to land up driving in circles, making it more complicating the process, complicating the business model. How do I know you're going to do this? Because everybody freaking does it. You know, the vast majority of people. I didn't complicate it. I found land literally 2 weeks after I decided I was going to build a house. Because all I did is I found houses that supported this business model when I first started building in 1999, and I just bought land 2 houses down from where another guy was building. Okay, and you guys can do the exact same thing. You don't have to go too far, too deep. When we started doing this, guys, I built in the exact same area from 1999 all the way to 2009. So an entire decade. I didn't even leave like a 1 mile radius. I just stayed in that exact same demographical area. Never moved from there. 2009, I was forced to move from there because of the recession. I moved up to where I'm building now. And since 2009 until today, I still build in the exact same area that I've been building in for the last 15 plus years. Okay. And you guys will do the same. So once you find an area, don't go too far. Just stay in that area because that's where that money keeps going, right? Those same type of people keep buying that area and you just keep following the progressive growth as it happens. You don't have to go very far. Okay. You don't have to go, hey, I live in Washington. Can I go build in Phoenix? You don't have to do that. Right down the street, guys. I literally built 5 minutes from my house. How could I do a selfie video and 15 minutes later be behind the camera going, ta-da, I'm here? Because it's right down the friggin' street from my house. Okay. So here's how it goes, guys. 3 months, you find land. Okay. You're going to confuse it. You're going to be ass backwards. You're going to make it all complicated. It's going to take you 3 damn months to find the right business model because you're going to talk yourself into it. Then you're going to talk yourself out of it. You're going to get excited and then you're going to get scared. You're going to get giddy and then you're going to get butterflies. So it's going to happen, guys. It's part of the process. Embrace it. Okay. 3 months of that bullshit. Now you go in 3 months later, you find a piece of land and you get your ass to work. The second you find the land, not after you close on the land, the second you find the land, you start feeding it to your surveyors, you start feeding it to your architects, you start feeding it to your civil engineers, those 3 people. And you make them go to work to start producing this for you. It's going to take you another 3 months to get all 3 of those things done. You get the surveyor on it right away. If you don't even wait for a surveyor, you get the survey because you need a topographic survey and a boundary survey, but don't wait for them because that might take them 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks you waste. Okay, so the second that you go in, you tie up a piece of land, you start executing that moment, that day. I mean, you should drive away from that land on an app called Landglide and buy a membership to Landglide, take a little a selfie shot, or not a selfie shot, what is it, a screenshot of the lot because it points out the dimensions for you and you email it right there. You just hit the little send button, share it over to your architect. You get their email, you send it to your architect and your survey company and say, get to work. I want a 2,500 square foot house. This is the house I want to build. And you just explain to them exactly what I'm telling you guys today. And you have their ass go to work for you immediately and have them start working on this because this is money right here, guys. This right here is money. Okay. Now, once we do that, we spend 3 months working with the architects, the engineers, and these guys, because that is going to get us money. Okay. So we spend months 3 through 6, months 3 through 6, putting together in architecture, engineering, and survey work. Okay. You really just need a civil engineer, maybe a structural engineer for some municipalities where they have to stamp and approve it. For wind loads and stuff, your architect will typically help produce the structural engineering stamp for you. Okay, so this will take you 3 months to do. Now, once you do that, the average lag time to get permits across the United States is 45 days. Okay, now there is a caveat to that. There's some municipalities, like I can get permits usually in 2 weeks where I live. In smaller municipalities, you can get them pretty quick. But then there's like Kirkland, Washington, where I'm building in shit. It takes me 9 months to go through plan review. And then there's everything in between. But for the vast majority of you guys, you can get permits within 60 days. Okay. Don't build in like hard municipalities. You can just like migrate out of there and go up towards like Redland or go up to like Tacoma or some of these areas where it's quicker. You can get them in 30 days. But you go into the smaller municipalities, 60 days later, you'll get permits. So month number 6 and 7, you're working on plan review. Okay. So by month number 8, you have a set of permits. So now months number 7 through 8, 7 through 8, you're in plan review. Month 8, you get permits, okay? You get permits. Okay, now, here's the thing, guys. When you're here in month number 8 and you get your permits, you're also over here on month number 3 and 6. Once you get to the end of month number 6, you're working right here on lending. Okay, you're working on lending. So you're working on money right here. Right after you get your plans, that goes to the bank, guys. Now, how many of you guys would love to have a spreadsheet that breaks down for you guys, have a budget spreadsheet that breaks it down by every trade that you're going to need to be able to get estimates from. How many of you guys think a spreadsheet like that would be valuable? To have every trade professional that you're going to need, from the dirt guys all the way to the low voltage guys, to the electricians, the plumbers, the sheetrock guys, the painters, everybody, every single trade you're going to need. How many of you guys think that would be, there would be a valuable spreadsheet to have? What if that spreadsheet was in sequential order? Okay, what if that spreadsheet was in sequential order and it went by trade in the exact sequence that you needed to build that house? Not only that, how many of you guys think that that spreadsheet would be good to have, because you're going to have to produce that for the bank to be able to borrow money. And then you're also, at the end of your bill, you'll be able to track your entire expenses based on what your budget was and your actual expenses, and then give that to your accountant without even having to hire an accountant. All you have to do is say, drywall. You just plug it in. Plug it in. You go plug $20,000. Enter. How many of you guys can do that? Paint, $11,000. Enter. How many of you guys can do that? And then at the end, it adds it up for you. You don't even have to add it up. It's the spreadsheet does it for you. And you just can just put save, send to, you send it to your accountant. Boom. No accountant needed. How many of you guys think that's valuable? Yeah? Okay. Those of you guys that are action takers, I'm going to get you that spreadsheet today. Those of you guys that come to Dallas, I'm also going to get you that spreadsheet today. Okay. Now, it's valuable, guys. Just understand that as you guys work with us, we'll provide you guys with all the resources, tools that you guys need to be able to be successful doing this. Now, once you do that, you go and you get your loan. Now, when we do that, month number 8, you get your permit. It's going to take you 6 months to build this house. Probably 5, but let's just call it 6. So month 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Month number 13, you're finished with your home. So now you take month number 8 through 13, and you build. Okay. You're a year into this, guys, and you haven't even made money yet. You're building, guys. How many of you guys went to college on here? Just by show of hands, just say yes in the chat. How many of you guys went to college? Okay. The average American spends $111,000 going to college, 4-year degree. The average college graduate, you know how much they make when they graduate? The average college graduate makes $62,000 a year in their first year out of college. They spend 4 years, $62,000. Okay? Woo! How many of you guys are super excited? Go spend 4 years, go make $62,000. How many of you guys don't mind spending 13 months learning this and making $150,000? Anybody? How many of you think it's a better business model? You earn while you learn, and it costs you less money to do it. Your barrier of entry is way less than $111,000. Okay? Now, so you build from month 18 through 13. Now, month number 13 and 14, you list the house. It's going to take, the average house is staying on the market for 3 weeks right now. Okay? So let's say that it takes you 2 months to sell the house. Month number 13 and 14, that house is on the market. So you're reselling the house. Month 13 and 14 is resale time. Okay, that's your resale time. Month number 14, end of the month, you cash in. So month number, let's call it month number 15, where you actually get your cash. Okay, so month 15, you cash in. And month number 15, you make $150,000. Okay. Now, you can go out and buy a car. You can go out and try to buy yourself a home. If you do that, you're stupid. Don't do that. Okay. I know it gets exciting. You're like, most people haven't had that much money in their bank account all at one time. But if you do that and you come and ask me, I'm going to tell you how stupid you are. Because we're scaling, guys. We're scaling to $1 million. And I'm going to teach you guys how to get generational money forever. That you get this type of money whether you work or not. That's the goal. You do this once, you spend it all, you're an idiot. Take that money, collateralize it. Go in, and then what you do on month number 15, when you sell it, is you start how many homes? Not 1, but 2 houses, guys. So month 15, you start 2. Okay? You don't pay taxes on that money. You don't pay taxes on this money, guys. You expense that money. You put that money and you expense it against your next 2 houses. So when you have a business, this is not capital gains taxes. This is ordinary income. Okay, you're a business and this is ordinary income. You only pay capital gains taxes on assets you hold. You're not holding this asset. You buy the land, you build it, and you sell it. It's ordinary income. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not an accountant. I don't claim to be. Make sure that you guys consult with them, but you expense this against your next bills. So you take this $150,000, you collateralize it from the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I want to go in and build 2 houses, and I'm going to collateralize this $150,000 against my next bill, my next 2 bills. They're going to look at it from an interest service perspective, not an asset perspective. The house will collateralize itself. This is just to service debt. Okay, the banker's looking at it from a debt service perspective. Again, I know this doesn't make sense to a lot of you guys because most of you guys didn't study banking and lending. I'm teaching it to you right now. You go in, you collateralize that, you build 2. Now, you don't go in and start building 2 and start this process right here. You go in and you tie up 2 more pieces of land right here while you're in plan review. Once you get your permit and you start building right here, you should have tied up 2 lots right here. And now, when you're building that house, guess what you're doing over here? You're working through architecture, engineering, surveying. You're working now through plan review. So you have 3 months here, 2 months here. That's 5 months. It's 6 months to build the house. You go in, you have an extra month that those permits just sit dormant, waiting for you to cash in and get your check so that you can go in and start building. So the second that you go in right here and you have these lots already permit ready, you go and take a little bit of your construction money, go and tie up these lots, go and work on the architecture engineering, your permit ready. The month 15, you cash in, boom, it's go time. 2 houses, guys, 2 of them. And now you go. It's going to take you guys 6 months to build 2. It's the exact same amount of work to build 2 as it is 1. You share the same drywall guys, the same framers, the same foundation guys, and you build them in sequence and you even lower your cost to build. You ask them for a little discount since you have volume now. You got 2. And now that you go in here, you just purchased a lot from that broker. You go, Mr. Broker, Mrs. Broker, I need to tie up 2 more. 2 more. Now they know you're a closer, you're an executor. They will help you with a long-term close on those. You don't have to buy them. You just say, and they'll say, hey, Mr. Seller, this guy wants 2 more. He's the one that closed on this other lot. He's building that house. We're going to do a contingent on the sale of that home. And then you go in, you close, and boom, you turn dirt. 6 months later, month number 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Month number 20, you're building. Okay? So month number 15 through 20, you build 2. Okay, now we go in, we build 2 homes, month 15 through 20. Now we get to the end of this, it's going to take us 60 days. You know what? Will you leave the door open for Alec? Just leave the garage open, and then if you see him, just tell Alec to come in. He might be out there right now. Okay, and then month number 15 through 20, you're going to go in, tell baby girl I said bye, mama. Okay, love you guys. Okay, month number 15 through 20, you build 2. Now, month number 20 through 22, you're going to sell some homes. So month number 20 through 22, you have to list houses. This is where you go in and you resell them. Now you cash in. Month number 22, you cash in. Month number 23, you cash in. Okay, right here, month number 23. Now, we just sold 2 houses, month number 23. That's a total of $300,000. Okay. We have that plus the 150. We have a total of $450,000, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, net so far. Okay, now here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. $450,000 net. Do you pay taxes? Yes or no? Do you pay taxes yet? Yes or no? No, you don't pay taxes yet. Okay, you know what you do? It's what you do, guys. This is what you do. This is the bill that I just finished. Look how thick that file folder is. You know what's in here? Every friggin' receipt for that bill. You know what this folder is? It's a house I'm building now. Every receipt is starting to go in here. By the time we're done with this house, every receipt will be in there. So if you guys go in, you look at this, look at that. That's an invoice for $13,847 for, what is that for? Oh, it's for lumber. One of my lumber invoices. Lumber was a little more expensive than all that, but it has all the invoices. Every single invoice for that build. And there's the address right there. Address is right there. You guys can go to that house if you guys want to. 301 New Mexico Highway 165. Okay, every single house. This one right here, lot number 62. Lot number 62. Okay, same thing. Every single invoice for that entire build, boom, right there. Okay, you take your profits and you expense them against your next builds. Okay, you expense them against your next builds. Don't pay taxes on it yet. Okay, you are creating a tax liability. You are. You're definitely creating a tax liability. But we're going to teach you guys how to mitigate that tax liability here in just about 5 minutes. Okay, now we go in, we expense that against our next bills. We don't want to pay taxes yet. You're going to have to pay taxes at some point in time, maybe. But if you do it our way, you don't. So you expense it. You don't go out and buy a new car. You go to dinner. Take your wife, take your husband to a new dinner. Celebrate. Go to a nice restaurant. Spend $300 on some Wagyu steak. Go out and get a couple glasses of wine. Don't drive home drunk. Just make sure you guys get your ass home because you got work to do. Okay? Now what you do is you go in, and what you do is you go in, and if month number 15, you go in right here and you tie up four lots, okay? And you start this process right here in month number 15. You start working on architecture engineering for 4 builds. So as you're building those 2 houses, you're permit ready by the time you're done with those houses. Now, month number 23, you build 4. Okay. Now you can do this without you can do this without a superintendent. You can do this without an assistant or an administrative assistant. You don't need that yet. Once you pass 4, you will need some help. Okay. Now, for some of you guys, you may say, "Hey, it's a worthwhile investment. I'm going to pay somebody a part-time fee to help work with me." Cool, no problem. 4 of them, I can do that on my own, part-time. Once you get over 4, it becomes more of a full-time gig. Okay. So now, month number 23, you build. We start 4. Okay, now it is going to take you a little bit longer because you guys might be waiting for an electrician to finish one. You might be waiting for a drywall guy or a roofer to finish another house before they go to the 4th home. And so let's say it takes you 7 months to build 4. Okay, you buy 4 lots right across from each other. You build them. You have the trade guys going right in between those 4 homes. You build month number 23. You collateralize that against a line of credit now. No more construction loans, guys. You take this $450,000, you go to your banker, you collateralize that against a construction loan that gives you the bandwidth to build 4 homes. Okay. Now you go in, now you're making some money. You get like a $1.5 million line of credit, and you go in and you collateralize that against a $1.5 million line of credit, a little bit higher interest rate, but it's unsecured debt, and you can just move through these builds quicker now. Okay. So now $450,000 collateralized, no taxes paid on it yet. And now you go in and you start month number 23. Right over here at month number 15, you get 4 of them ready. Your broker goes in, Mr. Broker, Mrs. Broker, I want 4 more lots. I want a delayed close. I just closed on 3 other ones. You know I'm an executor. You know I'm a doer and an executor. I'm going to close on 4. Zero money out of pocket, guys. Maybe $1,000, $2,000 in escrow for each of those lots. That's all. And now you go in and you execute to the finish line. Once you cash out, you go in, you get your loan from your bank or your line of credit. The second you do, you got money. You go in, you pay off those lots. Okay. Now you're paying for those lots with your line of credit. The bank's no longer paying them for you now. They are, but they're doing it through a line of credit instead of a draw. Okay. So now you're not bottleneck. Now you go in, you don't get sloppy because you're making money. You get more strategic and you align your stuff. Okay. You align it. 7 months, month number 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay. You're building. Month 23 to 29, you build 4. Okay. Now, it's going to take you longer to sell all 4. Let's say it takes you 3 months to sell all 4, or they come to the end of the market at different times. So now you take month number 29, month number 30, 31, and 32, okay, to sell all 3 homes. So now you take month 29 through 32 for resale. Okay. Now, to close on those, let's say it takes another 30 to 60 days. Month number 32, 33, and 34. Okay. Now month number 33, 34, you start cashing in. Okay. Now, you have 2 months left to make mistakes, ladies and gentlemen. 2 months. You go in and you do this in 34 months. You cash in 4 homes. That's $600,000. Okay, 600K plus 450. That's $1,050,000. That's your net out. Okay, that's your net out. Okay, now you guys got a tax liability right now. Okay, of $1 million net income. How are you doing? How many of you guys think you guys can do this and execute this if you have a step-by-step process to be able to go in and do this over the next 36 months? That's 3 years, guys. That's 3 years. Doesn't happen overnight. That's 3 friggin' years, guys. 3 years. Step by step. I know today it feels uncomfortable, but the biggest regret all of our students have after they build their first house, you know what you guys want to hear what the biggest regret is if they didn't do two. Almost every student that builds one, they sit back and go, damn, Jerome, this wasn't as hard as I thought it was. Yes, it was work because it is work, but damn, you're 100% right. I feel like I wasted my time building only one house at a time. I should have built two at a time because I could have totally done two. And so once you get into this, guys, and once you realize how easy it is, it's not that much work. And when I say easy, it's not like easy, like you're going to sit your ass on a couch and do nothing. You're going to have problems, guys, hands down. You're going to have problems. Okay. No question about it. You're going to get yourself into a position where you're negotiating with contractors, somebody to show up. You're going to have shit happen, right? It's just part of business, it's part of life. It's just part of what happens, guys. It's business. All right. But now you become solution based because every problem has a solution, right? You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. That's the way business owners think. You know, how do I solve problems? Not dwelling in them. You just solve them. That's it. Every problem is a solution. This takes work. Okay. Now, one thing I know before I teach you guys how to not pay any tax, how many of you guys want to learn how to not pay taxes on that? Okay. How many of you guys are willing to stick around with me for about another 10 minutes to learn how to not pay taxes on that? Anybody? Okay. Yes. Okay. I know there's a bunch of you guys circling through there. Okay. Now, real quick, guys, and I have a bunch of people. I have thousands of people between TikTok, between Facebook, and between Instagram and YouTube that we piling in. I'm talking to you guys on that I'm talking to all of you guys, but for you guys that are specifically opted in and are watching this through Zoom right now, which we have hundreds and hundreds of you guys on, you guys, I want to know how many of you guys are executors and feel like you guys are the ones that really want to take action right now. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Before you say yes, hear me out. And the rest of you guys on all these other social media platforms, just DM me the word, just put 100K in a message, a DM to me, and somebody on my team will reach out to you to help you guys. Now, for you guys that are in here right now, here's what I want. I'm looking for only 5 people today. Okay. Here's five action takers. Okay. And remember at the beginning of this, I told you guys that there is an investment to work with us. Okay. I'm not going to do this for free, guys. I have staff. We're not going to do this for free, but I will tell you one thing. I almost do it for free because one of the biggest things is it's a one-time investment in you. And then once you're a part of our inner circle, if you're an executor, you work with us absolutely forever. Okay. Now think about it this way. How many of you guys would love to go to Dallas with us and be there out of those 5? Now, I'm going to invite all of you guys to go to Dallas with us here in a second. But for the executors, you're going to get Dallas and you're going to come to get Dallas. Let me tell you guys about Dallas first. Okay. So on June 22nd, guys, I'm hosting the first ever Build Wealth Workshop. Okay. And in Dallas at the Crown Plaza Hotel and Resort in Dallas, Texas, I'm going to be hosting a full 1-day workshop. Okay. I've never done this before. We're going to start off in the morning. Okay. And in the morning, at the first part of day 1, we're going to teach you guys this in depth. I'm going to talk to you guys about lending. I'm going to talk about how to resource capital. I'm going to teach you guys how to underwrite these in depth in the early morning. And we're going to teach you guys this in depth. Okay. Now it's going to be in workshop style. So we're going to have desks for everybody and you're going to work in groups. And then you guys are going to work to learn how to underwrite these yourselves. We're going to supply you guys with all the worksheets and stuff. Okay. Then you're going to have lunch on me. And I'm not going to feed you guys peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Okay. You guys are going to have a nice spread, salads, a full course meal for lunch. Okay. And then I'm going to feed you guys. That's on me. Okay. Now, once I do that, Then we're going to come in for the second session in the afternoon. I have some guest speakers coming in. My business partner, Kyle Mitchell, will be there. I got Michael with the Unbroken podcast. You guys don't know much about Mike. I had a bunch of people that are in the industry doing stuff, guys. And so I have just a handful of speakers. I want to take most of your time that day, okay? And then session 2, we're going to teach you guys how to do what I'm showing you guys here on how to do this tax-free. I'm going to teach you guys how to scale into an 8-unit apartment complex in the afternoon. I'm going to teach you the underwriting, how to underwrite cost to build, and how to actually underwrite the execution of that cost, and actually how to teach you guys how to underwrite the value of that asset based on how banks do it, okay? And then I'm going to teach you guys how to go in and depreciate that asset so you don't pay taxes on it, okay? That's what we're going to do in Dallas. It's going to be a jam-packed friggin' day. You're going to walk out of there, bring your goggles. You guys ever see those like scientist goggles that they're like those big white ones that go over your eyes? The mad scientist. You guys ever see those goggles? Bring a pair of those with you because I'm going to feed you with a friggin' fire hose that day. And it's on, baby. That's Dallas on the 22nd. When you walk out, you're going to sit there and go, shit. You're going to be going, holy shit. I don't even know how to retain this. Your brain's going to blow up. Okay? It's going to be that intense in Dallas. Okay? Now, if that's you and you're sitting back going, Jerome, yes, I want that. But you want an acceleration of the educational process between now and then, and you guys want to be between now and June 22nd, you want to be in every one of my calls, every one of my training classes, and a part of working with my team and me directly every single Thursday. Like I'll even bring you into tomorrow's class. Like today, this is only available for 5 of you guys to come in today. Okay. Now, investment, we'll never ask you for a penny ever again. $10,000 includes Dallas, and you're a part of our community forever. Okay? As long as we're building, as long as we're educating, you're a part of it forever. And if you don't have the 10,000, my team will work with you guys on payment plans to be able to help you guys execute. Okay? So you guys can get started today. And here's the thing, guys. For those of you guys that are interested, I'm only looking for 5 of you guys, only 5. If you're interested in getting started on my team right now today, and you're one of the executors only, I want you guys to drop your phone number and name in the chat right now to have my team call you guys right this moment. You have to do it. This is just for today, guys. Only 5 of you guys. Okay. So if you guys want an opportunity to be interviewed, to be an executor, go to Dallas and work with our team, then drop your name in the chat. And if you do it today only, we're going to give you guys a $2,000 discount, and my team will I'll give them the approval to do it as a one-time $8,000. Okay, for today only. That's it. Only today, guys. Drop your phone number in the chat right now. My team will start calling you guys, but it has to be done today. Okay, right now. Okay, now don't go anywhere. As they're calling you guys, answer the phone, but keep watching this. I'm going to give you guys a replay on this. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a replay on this, and I'm going to that way you guys can watch all of this stuff as well. Okay, now with that said, guys, on the replay, with that said, I don't want you guys to miss the tax-free part, guys, how you guys scale into multifamily. That's going to be important for Dallas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over this, and then I'm going to invite the rest of you guys to Dallas. Let me show you guys. For those of you guys that are dropping your phone numbers right now, if you guys want a call from my team right now, this isn't the time to ask questions. For those of you guys who want to ask questions, if you guys look at your phones, you guys just got dropped an SMS message right now where you guys can click and schedule a call if you have questions. Right now, the people that are dropping their phone numbers here, this is not a question asking time. This is a time for you guys to take action right now. Okay, it's not a time for you guys to call and bog up the phones with my team. It's only 5 of you guys. If that's you and you have questions, no problem. We're going to answer all your questions. You guys just schedule a call off that link, and my team will schedule a call to answer your questions. What we're looking for is 5 people that are interested in executing right now that I can start working with tomorrow, that I can get into my education class and our buy, build, flip program tomorrow, so that you guys are on tomorrow's education class, and I start helping you guys start finding land now. So by the time you get to Dallas, you're already moving forward, guys. That way, when you get to Dallas, you're sitting back and you have an epiphany. You're going, holy shit, Jerome's been talking to me about this for the last 4 weeks, and I spent 4 weeks of education. I'm ready to go. By the time you guys leave Dallas, boom, it's execution time. That way you don't feel like you were fed with a fire hose. That way you feel like, damn, I've been learning this over the last 4 weeks. I'm coming from Dallas, and now I'm just ready to go. Okay, that's the goal with the action takers. And if you're an action taker, schedule a call right now. Okay, that's it. The rest of you guys, I'm going to invite you guys to Dallas here in a second. But if you have questions on being an executor, schedule a call and they'll get with you tomorrow. Today's for action takers, tomorrow's for questions, and my team will answer all your questions tomorrow. Okay, that SMS link that you just got on your text, schedule a call, click on it, schedule a call on the calendar, and my team will call you tomorrow, answer all your questions. We'll get you guys pushing forward. Okay, action takers, you guys will be on the phone with my team. I'm going to give you a replay of this. You guys don't miss it. You guys take the call if you see a 505 number coming in. Now, here's how you pay no taxes, guys. No taxes. And here's what I'm going to teach you guys how to do in Dallas. Okay, so we're going to take an 8-unit apartment complex. Okay, 8 units. Okay, let's say that 8-unit apartment complex has 1,000 square feet. Okay, so you get 8 units. Each unit is 1,000 square feet. That's 8,000 square feet. Okay, 8,000 square feet. Okay, now listen to this, guys. So I'm going to invite you guys to Dallas. This is what I'm going to be going over in Dallas. Okay, and if you guys want to go to Dallas, hang tight here because you guys are going to have an opportunity to get invited to Dallas here in just a second. Okay, now 8,000 square feet. The cost to build is going to be someplace in that $185 a square foot range. Okay, now when we do this, guys, I'm going to teach you guys how to go out and assess the entire cost to build. But today, I just want to assess value and value only. Okay, because I want to show you guys how to take that money tax-free. Once you guys go in and you build 4 homes, each home is 2,500 square feet. That's 10,000 square feet that you build in 1 year. If you go in and you build 8 units, that's not even equivalent to the 4 homes you built on year number 3. Do you think you can build an 8,000 square foot apartment complex if you just built 10,000 square feet worth of homes on your 3rd year? Yes or no? Sound reasonable? You built 10,000 square feet worth of for 4 homes. Can you build 8,000 square feet for 1 apartment complex? The answer is yes, you can. Okay, now 8,000 square feet, what is the value? What is the value? Okay, the reason I need the value is because I want to depreciate this asset so I don't have to pay taxes. Okay, so I'm going to take this 8,000 square foot. Now, let's say that every unit is paying $2,300 a month. By the time they pay rent at like $2,100 a month, they pay their credit fee. Let's say they have a pet. Some people have pets, some people don't. Let's say that they have a garbage service, whatever there is. There's what's called RUBS, rental upgrades that you charge people. So let's call it like $2,300 a month, or we'll even call it like $2,200 a month. So if we have 8 units, $2,300 per month, or $2,200 per month. $2,200 per month per unit. Okay, so we take 8 units times 200. We take $2,200 per month times 8 units. That's 100. That's $17,600. Okay, $17,600 per month. You multiply that times 12, so there's 12 months in a year. Our gross income potential, so times 12, is $211,000. Okay, that's our gross income potential. Most of these apartments, there's a 5% revolution. So we have to account for vacancies. So if you take 95% of that, so at 95% occupancy, we're going to have a gross operating income. This is our gross income potential. We'll have a gross operating income equivalent to, so we'll take, let me tell Alec, guys, that just to come inside. Okay. Alec, just come inside. The door's open. Okay. Now, guys, we get our gross income potential, $211,000. Okay. 211, 123 times 0.95. Our gross operating income, $200,000. Okay. 200K. Okay. Now, the average apartment complex takes about 40% to run. This is an 8-unit, guys. There's no swimming pools. There's no grass. They're super simple, real easy to manage. Most of you guys will self-manage these things, and there's not a lot of expenses to manage them. There's not a lot of high management fees. There's not a lot of groundkeeping. It's a brand new apartment. What CBRE tells us and that it takes about 19 to 20% to run these. And so I question CBRE. So we never underwrite them at 20%. We always underwrite them at a minimum of 30% expenses to be able to go in and run these brand new apartment buildings. Okay, so let's call it 30%. So if our net operating income, the formula for net operating income is the gross operating income minus expenses. Okay, now follow me here, guys. This is like 500 level underwriting right here, guys. I'm going to go through this in depth in Dallas with you guys, and to show you guys have $1 million tax liability. Remember, okay? You can either pay taxes on this $1 million and not learn this, or you can learn it. It's up to you. Now, you'll how many of you guys want to spend $400,000 and write a check for 400 grand to the IRS? Any of you? Or no? I don't want to write a check to the IRS for 400 grand. Do you guys? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. Hell no. I don't want to go in and spend 400 grand, write a check to the IRS. I'd rather learn this. So damn it, pay attention. And listen, look, guys, this is 500 level underwriting. Net operating income minus gross operating income, gross operating income minus expenses equals net operating income. Okay. Now, the only expense you don't take into consideration is debt service. Okay. That is not an expense that you take out of here. This is excluding debt service. So now you take your gross operating income of $200,000, you take 30% of that. Okay. So you take 30%. So you take 30% expenses. That's everything from property taxes, property insurance. That's the landscape guys blowing and weeding your property once a month or once a week. That's you going in fixing toilets or having a handyman go in, fix toilets and fix broken stuff. That's the maintenance on that building. Management fees, that 30% is all of that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So now we take $200,000 times 0.30. And that's $60,000 to manage that property every single year, all expenses, property taxes, insurance, everything. So we take $200,000, that's our GOI, 200K minus 60K for the expenses equals 140K for our net operating income. Okay. Now, why is that important? Because the value of an asset is equivalent to the value equals net operating income, NOI, divided by cap rate. Okay, now, you'll probably be underwriting these at a 5% cap rate when it's all said and done after you finish building this, if things continue to improve. But for all intended purposes, in today's world, let's look at it at a 6% cap rate, because that's what you'll be financing this through a HUD loan. Because that's what we teach you guys. Use HUD to go in, build green, and get a HUD loan for 6% interest. So now we take $60,000 divided by a 6% cap rate. Okay, so what we're going to do is value equals NOI divided by cap rate. Okay, value NOI divided by cap rate. Okay, now the NOI was $140,000. We're going to divide that by a 6% cap rate. Okay, so our value is equal to, take $140,000 divided by 6%. That's a value. What's up, Alec? How you doing, bro? A little late. That's okay, man. You're good. I'm running late too. That's all right. We're learning, right? We're running late, but we're learning. Okay, $2.3 million. Okay, so we got $2.3 million. So we got $2.3 million value. Okay, now the IRS says you can depreciate this asset through bonus depreciation, but you can never depreciate land. So let's say that land cost you $300,000 and the land value is 300 grand. You subtract the land for 300K, you have $2 million. Okay. Now, there's what's called cost segregation. We're going to cost segregate this. And we're going to do this through what's called bonus depreciation. Okay? Through what's called bonus depreciation. Okay? Now, you need to find an accountant that understands cost segregation and bonus depreciation. These are set up from our federal government to go out and reward developers for creating housing in general. Doesn't matter if it's affordable housing, just all housing. Okay? And if you do, they're going to let you take a bonus depreciation in your first year of 80%. Okay? Of 80%. You can depreciate 100% of this over the course of 5 years, but you can take 80% in 1 year. Okay? So now, when you do that, you take $2 million times 0.8, you can depreciate you could take $1.6 million tax write-off your very first year. Okay? So you can cost segregate 80% of that, $1.6 million in the first year, tax-free. That means you can earn $1,600,000 in taxable income and not pay any taxes. How much money did you guys make building houses? $1,050,000 is what you made building houses, right? So now, when you cost segregate this, you can take that $1,050,000 and write it 100% of it off and pay zero taxes based on this tax code. Okay, now you still have over $550,000 in tax write-offs. And you know what's cool? You could take the write-off in your very first year, but if you don't use all of it, then it can go to the next year. If you don't use it the next year, then it goes to the next year. That tax deduction never, ever expires. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call strategic tax payments. Now, look, guys, I know that people sit back and go, hate Donald Trump for not paying taxes. It's because you guys ever heard the saying, don't hate the player, don't hate the player, hate the game. Most people hate the player because they don't know how to play the game. Once you learn how to play the game, you're sitting back going, the only reason you hate it is because you don't know how to play the game. You're going, why is that asshole with orange hair not paying friggin' taxes and he's rich? Because he knows this shit. You don't. The difference is now you do. And so you can take advantage of the same tax codes that the orange man takes by doing this. Same thing, guys. Now if you were going, damn, I should have known that shit before. Damn, now I don't hate Trump as much. You might still hate Trump. Doesn't matter. I don't care. But now you're sitting back going, damn, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do, guys. We're low income. You know why? I don't have no taxable income. I have no taxable income, guys. I don't pay taxes. Okay, now, how many of you guys want to go to Dallas with me and learn how to do this the right way? How many of you guys want to go to Dallas and learn how to do this the right way? Say yes.